So now I've replaced that with a channel, so once again, when we compile, we'll see that it works as it did before. But let's say I recompile it with a different channel that we can't see as user text. Now, when it's done compiling, I click it, we don't see anything because it's getting set on a channel that we can't listen to. Now, these variables have all been in the global scope, meaning you can use them in any event, in any state, because I've, well, put them up at the top of the script. Now let's say I wanted to make a custom default name that only applies in state entry. So I'm just going to make this a little bit clearer. Well, actually, not. I'm just going to do this a little bit differently. So I'm going to have name is going to be Frederick, and I'm going to say name here. Now we're going to do something a little bit more interesting. We're going to do what's called overshadowing. So I can go name again and give this a different name. Let's say my friend Jesse or Scholar in Second Life. So now when I save this, we'll see that it will run like so. It says Scholar, and I click and it says Frederick, and it goes Scholar again. Because this variable is overriding this variable for this event and only this event, meaning that even in the touched out event it would still equal Frederick. So with this you can create variables that are more temporary. Now I'm getting a little bit upset about having these LSAs, so we can learn about user-defined functions. So I'm just going to create a very simple little function here called say, which will accept a string that's a message. And now I'm going to go on my channel, since I'm accessing it from the global scope, and I'm going to say the message that I get. So now I can replace this with my custom say function or method, whichever you prefer to call it. Really makes no difference. And that, so this accepts a parameter. That's what this is called. So I'm saying whatever gets passed here, we're going to access it from a string called message. Now let's say I wanted to, let's say, have another parameter. Let's say I want a name. I could put it here and then just use name, and then if I went here and maybe had Bob say Scar for some reason, I could do it like so. But we aren't going to do that, but it is possible to make multiple parameters. The same concept applies to events. Events have parameters. Now I'm calling this integer I just for the convenience of typing it in, but this really is usually num detected, which is useful if you're using the area of detected functions, which you'll read about in LSL Wiki or learn about maybe in a more advanced scripting tutorial later. So hopefully this tutorial got you somewhat familiar with the LSL scripting language, and ideally you should be able to understand it to a certain extent. So now I'm going to quickly refer you to a wonderful website called LSL Wiki. You can just Google it or type in lslwiki.net, and here you'll find all kinds of resources, such as you can learn about flow control, so if-else statements, for example. You can learn about more types of variables, and you can find out more about different functions here. So let's just show you how easy it is to figure out how one of these is to work. Let's go movement, and there's aren't any functions. Just a second. Apologize. You know what, I'm just going to manually type in the function I'm trying to find for you. So here we go, LSL pose. So we can see how you use it right here. You give it a vector. So there's an added bonus, how to use a vector. So vector pose I can replace with my own variable or anything I want. So conversely, I'm going to go to our get pose, which will get our current position, and I'm going to add a vector which is in x, y, z format. So x, y, and then up being z, and I'm going to make it go up 5 meters when the script runs. And just back up here so I can see the object a little bit better. See, it's moved up there, and well, we no longer need it, so let's just delete it. So that's a basic introduction to LSL, and like I said, there's all kinds of this LSL Wiki is just a terribly useful resource, and even those Second, there's a script library here, and you can just find scripts here, and let's see, for example, maybe a radar, which is a rather nice little script, and you can open them up and see how they work. And personally, I think that's one of the best ways to learn LSL, is to look at how other people have written scripts and how they work, to get an idea of what you can do yourself. And also, just browsing these functions here is another great way to learn. So good luck in learning to script tonight. Really do hope that you've enjoyed this tutorial.